Hey guys, I hope you're all having a good day. I think today I might work on my house, but I might just mine ore and get resources to go into the nether. And yeah, synchronicity. Way back after my first serious relationship ended, I was super depressed for months, probably far longer than I still care to admit. But that was nothing unusual, a pretty standard experience for most young adults when you lose that first life-changing love. But as I kept on keeping on, going to work, socializing with the boys, meeting new women, etc., etc., I had maintained the routine that in my head was my way to hopefully bump into her again and rekindle that flame. I would wake up midday, have something to eat, shower up, and wash the previous day away. I was working as a line cook at that time, so it was late nights and pubs after work for a couple drinks and whatever else might happen for fun. Anyways, my routine was the same: get fed, cleaned up, smoke a bowl with the roommates, and eventually get on the city bus and head to work downtown. I'd often get off that bus at an earlier stop than I needed to, closer to where the one that got away and I shared an apartment during our final year together, and I would walk those few extra blocks to get to the restaurant for work. I would endure those extra blocks for a couple of reasons, one of which was that I'd walk past the window of a coffee shop that we used to sit at together and that she used to have frequent catch-ups with her cousin over a latte. My rationale was that one day I'd look through the window and see her there with her cousin and have that rom-com moment where we'd catch up and hit it off all over again. It's worth mentioning that she had moved back to her hometown after our breakup and that her only reason to come back to my town was to visit her cousin who was still there for university. So the odds of that rom-com moment were practically nil. The other reasons for walking the extra blocks were to remember those memories I was holding on to when I'd pass by our old apartment, and the lesser reason being exercise. This routine carried on for about 4 to 5 months until my boys started telling me to move on, often preparing me for the cold, hard truth. She was gone and moved on, and I should too. So it was time for a change. I had met a girl, and we were having fun, neither of us wanting anything serious. I was hitting the gym and getting my mind right, and so the day came when I started to go through my day without her crossing my mind. The final thing I knew I had to change was my bus route. Easy enough to change, I figured I still enjoyed the walk and exercise, so I got off at the same early stop, but I'd cross the road and avoid the memories in the cafe window. Then the day when I was going to implement my new plan, nothing out of the ordinary, get up around noonish, eat, shower, chill with the boys. It was midsummer and a Tuesday or a Wednesday and the restaurant was super slow. My scheduled shift was 3 p.m. to close, so I'd get on the bus at 2 p.m. and get to work on time. But with the business being slow, everyone who worked at the restaurant was asking to start later, which was fine during the lull. So at noon that day, I called work and asked if I could start at 5 p.m. Sure, my boss responded, that was that. So as I was sitting around at home all by myself, I got to thinking, why did I call in to start late? I need the cash, especially since I was meeting the new girl downtown tonight. I'll call work and see if it's okay to start whenever I could get there. Sure, the boss replied, no big deal. So I got on the bus at 3 p.m. to start my shift at 4 p.m. and not 3 p.m. as scheduled, and not 5 p.m. as requested, but 4 p.m. as renegotiated. I get off at the bus at the earlier stop at 3:20 and I cross the street to avoid the reminiscing in the cafe window. I don't even look over in that direction. I can do this, I'm thinking to myself, and I make my way to work easy enough. And so my shift starts at 4 p.m. Jokes are made, shift is pretty standard. It's time for the pre-dinner rush, smoke break, we all step outside. My pocket vibrates. WTF is this text? It's hieroglyphics, or it was Mandarin or Vietnamese. I reverse search the phone number. It's from the same city, may even be from the university in town as far as I can tell from Google. That's weird is the thought I'm having while the dinner rush winds down and finally it's the next smoke break. My pocket vibrates again. WTF, this time her name pops up on the display and a half-typed message is what I receive. My mind begins to race, my heart pounding. I ask my coworkers, what the frick does this mean? What do I do? They all knew what I was going through for the last few months. Just ignore it, the guys say. Well, maybe this is the moment you've been waiting for, the girls say. I leave my phone for a couple hours. It didn't vibrate or ring, so now it's cleanup time. Wipe down the fridges, the counters, scrub the stove, sweep and mop, help the dishwasher. Finally, the phone rings. Everyone stops. My stomach is in my throat. I answer it. It's her. Hello? Hey. Hi, did you text me earlier? I ask. Yeah, sorry, I had a big text typed out to send to you because I saw you earlier today. Her voice was shaking. I was in town visiting my cousin and we were having coffee at the cafe by our old place. You remember the one? She asked. Of course, I replied softly, nearly in shambles. Well, anyways, we just stepped out of the cafe and I looked down the sidewalk to see you getting off the bus stop and you crossed the street. You didn't look up and you never saw me. I stood shocked and almost broke down. Her voice was shaking as she continued. I had a big message typed out to send to you, but my cousin suggested maybe I shouldn't send it as she knew we were both starting to move on. So I started deleting the message and somehow fat fingered the send button. At this point, the staff at the restaurant were keenly awaiting my explanation on what the hell was going on. Well, the conversation ended. It was the toughest moment in my life up to that point. She had invited me out to the bar with her and her cousin, and I made the hardest decision to refuse to go and instead stick with my previous date plans. My ex broke my heart, and in the very moment I conscientiously made an effort to move on with my life, the universe decided to throw her in the middle of my path. Had I just gone to work for 3 p.m. or 5 p.m., she would have not seen me, but I wish-washed with my schedule and started work at 4 p.m. Had she not mistakenly sent me that message, I would have carried on none the wiser. That day used to haunt me. What would have happened if I didn't dance around with my shift that day? Or what if I had ditched the date I had and instead met up with the ex at the bar? What if I had just walked past that cafe window one more time? What if I had just looked over to reminisce one more time? What would have become of that moment? A lot of time has passed and I romanticized the notion that the universe had a plan for me all along, or that the universe wanted her to have closure and I as well. But that synchronicity was evidence for me that life is far more intricate and compelling than we give it credit for. Perhaps there is such thing as destiny and fate. We experienced something extraordinary that weekend. I still can't understand it. If you like long stories, you will like this. I met this girl about a year ago. We would stare at each other in class. This went on for months and I took a liking to her. It seemed like she liked me back because she smiled at me and would say hi to me. One day I found her Instagram and slid into her DMs. The first thing I did was tell her that I wanted to get to know her. She told me that she didn't want a relationship, but it wasn't me, it was her. Little did I know this was because she was part of this huge mess of a situation with my other friend who she had known since middle school. I kept trying to text her, but she would just leave me on read and become super dry with me. It was obvious she didn't want to talk to me, but I never fully lost feelings for her. Don't ask me why, because I don't know either. All I know is that when I would look into her eyes, I saw someone who wore a mask and needed help. I decided that I wanted to be there for her and would never give up. I texted her every once in a while during the school year just to check up on her. In the middle of the school year, she came over to where me and my friend were sitting at lunch and she pulled him aside, and from what I got out of it was that she told him that she liked him. I also learned shortly after that she had been on and off with him with her feelings. She would tell him that she liked him and then she would say that she didn't. So I guess that she had finally made up her mind by then. When they were talking, my friend started crying, so it must have not been a perfect yes either, but they ended up fighting a lot. So much so that they decided that it would be better if they didn't speak to each other. He would tell me how he drank because he was depressed because of her, and he said a lot of bad things about her in general. That went on until the end of the year, and when that last day went by, I stopped texting her. I wasn't sure why I did, but I did know that I would get anxious talking to her because I knew I would be left on red and she didn't care about me. It hurt, but I kept going till I stopped, like I said before. It was the last day of class and I texted her to ask her how she did on the test, and then I didn't text her for a month during summer break. I wanted to talk to her, but the anxiety was still there, so I avoided it. The idea of being so distant with her that we wouldn't even say hi to each other when we passed each other in the halls. So I manned up and texted her one night. We talked and she asked me very early on, "Why are you texting me?" I told her that it was because I haven't talked to her in a bit and that I enjoy talking to her. After that, I made goals to reach in our convos, to set up more convos, and then get closer as friends. The plans I made worked. They worked a little too much, in fact. One of the goals I set was her opening up about the situation with her and my friend. I gave myself till the end of the summer to reach it, and it only took me about 3 days. We started texting every other day, which then turned into every day. She had another secret that explained a lot of things. She told me not to tell anyone, and I have never told anyone, so I won't be saying it here, sorry. But to give some light to it, she told me she hasn't been happy for a long time. It was her deepest secret, and from learning that, and after hearing both sides of the situation her and my friend went through, everything just clicked. It made sense why she wasn't interested in me at all, why she looked hurt, why my friend became depressed over her. Through all of that, I still had feelings for her, and becoming closer friends made me fall for her hard. While we texted, I realized that above all else, I wanted to see her happy and that I wanted to be there for her whenever she needed me. I wanted to be her friend most of all. We kept texting and I made it super obvious that I liked her. When school started, it was really hard for me to talk to her in person because all of our classes are far from each other and we don't have a class together. I only see her in between second and third, so most of our talking is done through text. One day I asked her if she wanted to hang out during a football game we were both going to, and she asked me if I liked her. I told her how I felt and she said she didn't feel the same way. I was okay with that though because all I cared about was being her friend. She felt awkward after it though. I think we definitely rushed our friendship if that's even possible. I mean, she shared her deepest secret with me when we had only been real friends for 2 months. Ever since then, I've been trying to fix our friendship. I'm trying to get things back to normal where we can talk every day like we used to. She has somewhat fixed things with my other friend and he has moved on with a new girl he loves very much. I have one final plan with her and that was to ask her to homecoming, but because things are awkward right now, I won't be doing that. Instead, I'm going to go to homecoming and ask her to dance with me. I miss talking to her a lot. It feels like something is missing, to be honest. I'm not sure what is in the future for me, but I'm never going to give up on her. I think I might be in love with her, but the thought of that scares me. LOL. Thank you for reading. Okay, guys, I hope you all have a good day and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.